to what should be a fantastic season, and what a way to get things started at the place where the last premiership was handed out.
And hasn't the world changed since then? A pleasure to be here, Jules, as we get underway. Opening night in the VFL season for 2022, second game of the season itself. Carlton versus Brisbane, and we're underway. The 245s contest. Murkov up against Lane at ground level, trying to harry away Paddy Dow with some pressure, and I think the umpires picked out a free kick against Dow for holding on, so it's going to come back. Lions kicking to the left of screen in this first quarter. One of the old legend stand end. The recipient for the Lions, of course, will be James Tunstall, who works it inside the 50. Can they start their quest for an early goal here, the Lions? Bounce of the ball evaded there. Trudgeon, who's been very good with his run and carry off half back in the practice matches. Tackle effective for the Blues there by Hayes. Umpire calls play on. Eventually the hand pass comes out in the direction of Nunes, who whacks it towards centre half forward. There's vacant territory inside the Blues 50. Kicking, of course, to the University end in this first quarter, and we'll have a bounce.
Beautiful conditions here at Icon Park this evening. The second match of the day. Footscray playing Sydney over at the Whitten Oval currently, as the ball thrown up. Gordon Matheson. The free kick goes to the Blues at half forward. It's going to go to Murkov. 55 out from goal. He hands it off, and Boyd will fire it towards full forward. There's classic work going back in the other direction. And it's marked last line of defence by Leicester for the Lions. Smallest after a minute as Leicester runs into the pocket and kicks it along the outer side here, the old Princess Park. And Loban juggling it, trying to keep possession. They move it forward, the Lions, to centre wing in the back. It's going to be a free kick going to the visitors.
James Tunstall, he's been in and under already with a couple of possessions, Jules.
So Brisbane, that was a harangue. Looked like it was high, and the umpire agrees. So it'll be a free kick to Cox. Goes outbound, a chance for the Lions to load up on the outer wing. It's punched forward to McFadden, who marks it 70 out from goal. It's going to go long into the pocket. No contest winner as yet. On ground level, it's claimed by Loban. Looking to play it back into some space. It's turned over. And Ivanovic takes it out for the Blues along the outer wing.
And looks like it's going to be seen over the line, an appeal for deliberate there, but nothing forthcoming from the umpire. Of course, when these two sides last met in round 2 last year, it was the Blues quite convincingly in the end. And Ben Crocker kicked 7 goals in that match. Crocker starred, of course, in the last match before the lockdown last year. He kicked a bag against Sandringham as well at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. The Lions move it forward inside 50. Obviously eager to atone for that performance when they last met the Blues in round 2. Approaching the attacking 50 here for the Lions. Hand pass comes out from Robertson. Finds his teammate there in Revel, who works it backwards to go forwards, and the mark taken by Michael. So Carter Michael chips it short. Very orchestrated attack. Michael, of course, working at his teammate there in Revel. Between half forward and centre wing. It's a congested forward line. Revel opts to go into the pocket looking for Buzzer. He flies high, couldn't quite take the mark. Radovanovic was around there at ground level alongside his teammate Chincotta, who fired out the hand pass. They're in a tight situation across that half back line, the Blues. Eventually the kick comes out from Trudgeon towards centre wing. Well, it ended up fortuitously into the lap there of Glass McCasker, and he takes the mark, and the Blues are away through the aid. Hurst inside. Motlop looking forward to seeing this young man play. Hand pass inboard to Cottrell. It's inside the 450 here for the Blues. Trying to pick the ball up is Williamson. Feeds a hand pass out. Eventually the voice is heard, that of Will Hayes, who tumbles it towards the top of the goal square. Big spoil from the back. Fickle bounce. Unable to take it there. Paddy Dow trying to break his way through. Eventually he collected it. Gained possession. Hand pass to Motlop. Still they work it out. Dow in the pocket. Swings round on his right foot. Tumbles it towards the goal square. Lions under desperate pressure. Good tackle applied there by Jack Nunes. And we'll have a bounce on the last line of defence for the Lions.
Quarter time at the Whitten Oval. It's the Swans by 13 points. 2 full 16 to 3 behinds over the Bulldogs. So the ball up, and it's an easy claim. Maybe too unselfish there from Glass McCasker. It's turned over the Lions, looking to work it to half back. In the vicinity. Ivanovic, who's been omnipresent to start, unable to win it on this occasion. They do force the turnover, the Blues, and keep it locked in their attacking 50. Send it back to Dow. Little short pass, a nice option. Goes outbound into the side just a slight. And it's marked about 49 metres out from goal by Joel Trudgett, right in line with the numbers.
That's right. Joel Trudgett, I mentioned last week when they played in the practice match against Richmond, was very good with his run and carry off half-back. He's roamed into the forward line here. We have a first crucial shot at goal.
First set shot for the season for the Blues. Shot over the paint at 50. This one starts out to the right and it won't come back. It misses everything entirely. Scoreless after 5 minutes of play here at Icon Park.
Quick kick in, marked by Madden for the Lions inside the shade. Lovely new facility where the old Robert Heatley stand used to be. Well, Robbie Heatley stand as a lot of the old Carlton supporters referred to it back in the day. Working around the outer side, Brisbane into the arms of Michael. He's had a couple of touches already and it's a good intercept there by Akui. Looking forward to seeing this excitement machine play. Wheels onto the right foot. Sends a long ball inside 50. Target there is Trudgett. Couldn't quite take the mark. Casted the role of a forward here in this first quarter. Good tackle applied by Hurst for the Blues. Still the ball in dispute. Taken down Motlop. Eventually the quick kick comes out. Flying high. Coleman couldn't quite take the mark for the Lions. Big chance with the intercept. Snap at goal for the Blues there by Nunes. It's high, it's hoisted, and it's still in the field of play here, this ball. I think they were expecting it to go through. It might have held up with a slight breeze, and it's rushed through a behind. So comical errors in the first couple of minutes. I suppose you'd expect that at the start of a new season.
Round one-esque a bit as the Blues get the first point via a rush behind. It's one behind and no score. I'll just set it into Madden from the kick in here, the Lions, and they'll get to the half-back flank. It's a lovely facility here, Icon Park, Princess Park. It's very much where the old meets the new. Smith marks it. But left half-back going for a flight was Parks. Didn't finish off the cherry, but did everything but. Lions working it down the wing. Just kept in the field of play. Enterprising stuff, but will be a boundary throw-in. Looking to keep it in was Hurst, but the boundary line beat him. Just slightly forward of the wing here for Brisbane. Both sides still looking for their first goal of the new campaign. The 2022 Smithies VFL. The opening day, opening evening of the new seasons. From the throw-in, the Lions just punch it down the line. It's off the hands of Wiley Buzzer. Looking to make hay with the Lions this season as it's gone out of bounds. And Boyd, the last man to touch the football. About 70 round from goal here for Brisbane.
Nice crowd here too, Jules. It's a decent crowd considering obviously still nice and sunny. Other people still coming from work, of course, at this time of the day.
Bit of an unusual time slot, the 5 o'clock start, but those that have made it here, they certainly want to keep riding high. The Blues, on the back of what their senior side has done over the first 2 weeks. It's fired inside 50, but a wonderful defensive mark. Going back with the flight with courage was Luke Parks, and he takes the intercept grab in the back pocket for the Blue Baggers.
Parks was absolutely exceptional late last season. Works it across his defensive goal face. Nunes combining with a QE, takes it in the opposite pocket. Very good in that match against Sandringham just before the lockdown too. Parks inside the defensive zone for the Blues. In that entire match, didn't really roam up forward. Cottrell flew high, couldn't quite take the mark. And that ball's not coming out, can't be extracted. We'll have a bounce. There's a decent contingent in the Legends stand. A few in the members stand, the old members stand as well. Obviously no social club, old social club anymore. Circumference and the feel of the ground has certainly changed, but so much history at this ground for Blues supporters. Hand pass comes out in the direction. Hurst working it forward. 2-on-2 contest. Going back with the flight, Brodie Kent couldn't quite take the mark. Good tackle applied there for the Blues by Hurst again. And we'll have a bounce probably about 65 metres out from goal for the Blues. As you mentioned, Footscray taking on Sydney in the other match, which started just a fraction earlier, so technically this is the second game of the 2022 VFL season. Free kick picked out for the Lions out of that contest. There's a bit of holding on, a lack of extrication in the midst of that. Low down, unable to take it was Offermans. It was on a half volley. They work it out to the Lions. They have the numbers on the outer side. Flying high for the mark there was Aberley, and will be paid. So deep on the outer side. True centre weak position. Blues looking to congest that defensive zone. They've done that well so far in the first 5 to 10 minutes. Just bringing numbers back as the Lions make a 4-4. Good spoil effective for the Blues there by Young. Still a chance for the Lions. Robertson hacks it on the boot. It's a high ball inside 50. Buzzer flies high. Couldn't quite take the mark. Good tackling pressure there on Coleman. And we'll have a throw in deep in the forward pocket for the Lions, who trail 1 behind to nothing in the first term.
At the Whitten Oval, he's sitting by 14 points, 2-5-17 to 3 behinds, 4 minutes into the second quarter. Boundary thrown about 20 around from goal for the Lions. Both sides still looking for their first major of the new season. And it's been caught by Nunes. He'll fire it down the wing, and that's a really strong mark out the side by Cripps. He'll punch it forward, and Crocker.
What a star he was.
Forward of the wing. Dissolves it up, allows his teammates to get behind the ball. He'll go low and direct. He finds Hurst in the shade here at Icon Park, about 60 out from goal against the boundary line. Long drop punt to the top of the square. It's off hands. Desperation stakes here for the Lions. Umpire's taking a long look at this one, and then he'll call a ball up.
Interesting, we speak about the Blues forward line. They had 11 individual goal kickers in their practice match against Richmond recently.
So from the ball up, it's been claimed by Wilmot. Trying to get through traffic, he's been run down. Handed it off, but it's turned over. Blues with it in the pocket. Nice show and go. Going towards home. And it's the first one of the new season for the Blues. Classy stuff. And Carlton get the first goal of the afternoon here at Icon Park. They're 1-1-7 to Brisbane's no score.
It was good effort from Hugh Hamilton in that situation, deep inside the 450 to give the ball off, and ultimately sure that there was a foray forward and a good scoring opportunity. But the Blues, as I mentioned, they have a bevy of goal scorers. Got Ben Crocker, who's come onto the ground after starting on the interchange bench. He kicked 7 last time these two sides met. They did have a couple of losses in their practice matches, the Blues, in the lead up to this season, but they certainly would have regained confidence out of that match against Richmond recently, where they won in excess of 77 points, and that was a 9-goal first quarter. Taken a little while to get going so far. It's taken probably a good 10 minutes for the first goal to be registered on the board. They're 1-1-7 the Blues. The Lions yet to score. We approach the 12-minute mark. An enterprising start for the Blues. Back at the centre once again at Icon Park. Contesting in the ruck is Glass McCasker, who's assumed that responsibility. Obviously his teammate Murkov coming off the ground. Lions try and win the clearance. Hand pass from Lohman, who did well to ride the tackle. Got the hand pass out, but in the road for the Blues there is Williamson. Going backwards to go forwards. Finds his teammate in Boyd under a little bit of pressure. Now a few options loose. In that true centre wing position, and Cottrell takes the mark. And a bit of encroachment here, so there'll be a 50-metre penalty. And that takes Matty Cottrell to within scoring range.
It's going to take him inside 50. Yep, 45 out. If he wants to try his luck, he's going to go back and have a ping.
It's a good kick of the football, Matt Cottrell, as well. He's kicking from almost directly in front, maybe slightly better than a 45-degree angle. Not much of a breeze to speak of at Icon Park today, so shouldn't be too many excuses. Kicking from virtually on the pate. Cottrell from 48 metres. It fades to the right and only a minor score. So the Blues move on to 1-2-8. The Lions yet to score in this contest at Icon Park on opening night of the VFL season.
And the Whitten Oval, it's the Swans by 9 points. 7.5 minutes gone. Second term over Footscray. 2 goals, 6-18 to 139. As Wilmot will run it out of the goal square, but it's intercepted on the flight. It's well read. Coming back in by Cripps. He's been very busy to start, and he does the team thing, unselfishly passes off, and the Blues keep it locked inside forward 50 here with Motlop. An acute angle, and he will back himself from here.
He's such an excitement machine too, Jesse Motlop, of course, the son of Daniel Motlop, former Port Adelaide player back in the day, with his bag of tricks. He was very good from the pocket. Let's see if his son can replicate those sorts of efforts here.
Be about 43 metres out. Right against the boundary line. And he's just left this hanging out the far side for a minor score. So 9 points with that response for the Blues. Brisbane well and truly trapped inside their defensive 50 here at the minute. Brisbane to work it out from the back. A kick into a long pack. They all went flying, didn't they? McEwie got a hand onto it. wasn't able to finish off the mark, but still, again, Glass McCasker takes the intercept. The Blues have set up that line between half back and between half forward and the middle of the ground from Carlton's perspective, and they can't get past it here, the Lions. Ivanovic will give it off. And it's marked about 60 out from goal.
Congested forward line.
Inside 50. And spiralling through hands to Matheson. He just blasts it for space, but Lux of Fortune coming off the bench is Lewis and running straight onto the ball. Timed that better, he couldn't have. Goes low and direct with the pass, but this is Brisbane's best opening for quite some time to try and find some field position. They've given up the free kick. So the Blues will continue their attack. Nunes will switch it back though to centre half back. Young with the mark. Go straight into the centre of Icon Park to Cottrell. They'll just chip it around here. Boyd goes to left half forward. Opening for the Blues. Have they got a man on the lead? They do. And it's Crocker who marks it, diving to ground level. And basically the same spot where Motlop had a shot at goal about a minute ago. He'll try his luck now.
Got the flashy pink boots as well. Big Crocker, he's a noted goal scorer. I've mentioned ad nauseum that he kicked 7 last time these two sides played in round 2 of 2021. He's very good at creating opportunities. He's got good footy now inside that 450. Just knows where to lead, finds the space well, and he's a pretty good kick of the football to boot.
Looking for the Blues second. Tight angle, 47 metres out. He's missed this one to the short side, so they've left some opportunities out there, the Blues. They lead by 10 points, 16 and a half minutes into the opening term.
Robertson marks in the left back pocket for the Lions. I guess have done well to stifle the scoring from their opposition, but haven't put much on the board themselves. Mark taken by Wilmot. The Blues have been very good at locking the ball inside their forward half over the last 5 minutes as well, going back across the defensive goal face. Arnold for the Lions. It's a risky kick with the intercept there. Good play from Hamilton, who's come off the bench well. Named as an emergency originally in this Blues lineup. Lions have the numbers. Quick kick out of the pack. Radovanovic will lead in the race for the footy. Keeps it in play. On true centre wing. Switches it laterally. It's a good pass as well. The Blues have been very good at trying to create opportunities inside their 450. Just need to execute. Long ball inside 50. The Flyers contest. Cottrell waiting at the bottom of the pack. Lions with the numbers though. Hand pass comes out in the direction there of Revel. He's had a couple of touches. He's claimed. Just got the hand pass out in time, but the numbers proving too superior for the Blues at the moment. Good weaving play there for Carlton. Glass McCasker was waiting for it, but in the end, mark taken inside that field of play. Nick Cahill received it from Marr. Cahill works it long inside 50. It's a long ball. Flying high for the mark there. Unable to take it was Cripps. And no one can extract it out of that pack. It's going to be a ball up from the scrimmage. Of course, Nick Cahill and Xavier Marr. Particularly the latter, Marr, has had a couple of touches already in this contest.
So back in familiar territory for both of these sides in this opening quarter. Won't come out this time. Blues will be a little disappointed, I think, with this return, though. 1-4. Looking to truly take the advantage. So that's an enterprising play. I guess you've got to do what you can in this situation. It goes out of bounds.
Reminds me, actually, the warmish weather. It's not too warm today, top of 21 degrees. I remember there was a game in the AFL between Carlton and Brisbane back in round 1 of 2000. It was a holiday Monday, and the temperature was, I think, into the mid-30s that day. The Blues won, by the way, a number of goals scored by about 50-odd points for the record.
Of course, that was the year that they started back in the heat of summer.
Correct.
To get it done in time with the Olympics. From Tunstall's volley kick that went out of bounds. The Blues have it from the boundary throw in. It's punched forward by Boyd to the top of the square again, and quite literally fisted out of bounds by Payne. Almost with a sense of frustration, you could feel that one. 19 minutes gone in this opening quarter. The Blues by 10 points. In the right forward pocket. The Swans continue to stretch the advantage at the Whitten Oval to 21 points over the Bulldogs.
So the Lions content to just congest the Blues forward line at the moment. Out of the ruck, deft little palm down from Cripps, who applies the crunching tackle out of the ruck contest as well. Lions with the numbers. It's fed out by Tunstall. They work it across the members' side. Flying high for the mark at Cooey, couldn't quite take it. Diving in with great aggression there was Cox for the Lions. And he's helped to his feet by his teammate. Will have a throw in between half forward and centre wing for the Blues. Members stand side. Glorious conditions here at Icon Park. Just an element of the realms of nostalgia coming through, as well as the new, as you said, Jules, with the new stands being built. The old Hawthorn stand being demolished. Cottrell. Hand pass back to Paddy Dow. Did a confined space. Did well to evade a couple of would-be tacklers. Fed out from Chincotta. And eventually it ends up at the arms there of Lewis, who hoists it high towards half forward. 2-on-2 contest. Out the back. Well taken by Michael. It's in a tight situation in a confined space, and that ball tumbles out of play in front of Glass McCasker. And we'll have a throw in inside the field of play, just in front of the interchange benches on the broadcast side.
The time on in this opening quarter. Blues by 10 points. Very much the old and the new intertwined here at Icon Park. It's
Juxtaposed.
Yeah, that's another one. This one is locked in before finally being freed. And the familiar story, Hurst tackled to ground. Boundary line will win out this time. Of course, it's been the venue where the last VFL premiership was handed out back in 2019, nearly 1,000 days ago. In fact, probably more than 1,000 days now.
And that was between, of course, Richmond and Williamstown in that tight contest. Tigers just got up.
Feels like an eternity has happened since then. Hopefully, we can get to the finish line in 2022. 2 seasons wiped out last year. They tried their best. 2020 never got off the start line. 2022, hope springing eternal.
That's it. Hopefully we get a similarly tight finish today as well as that grand final in 2019. Of course, this ground the venue for many VFL/VFA grand finals over the journey. Such prestigious history.
Ball thrown back into play. Again, tied up, ball up.
I suppose you expect the cobwebs to be spread out a little bit, both from a goal-scoring sense for the Blues, but also from an intensity point of view. Yes, they played a number of practice matches, but it's different when you get to the real stuff.
I'm sure this is the real thing, and for many of these players as well, the disjointed setup that things are like at the moment with senior lists and with the COVID protocols. Just ask the West Coast Eagles. I mean,
well, even the Blues at the moment,
the Blues
they've had their
as
fair
well.
share.
That's they of course have had their troubles over the last week. Not that you know about it, the way that they've performed on the field, both the seniors and the VFL. Started well here in this opening round game in Brisbane. Inside forward 50th for the first time in an age as Cox takes his head down over the football, loses possession. Blues trying to wrap things up and find a way out. They keep it alive. It sits up, 40 out from goal. And the Lions are unable to take advantage for the moment. Getting on the scene is Loman. Just ducking through tackles and being pinned.
Yeah, holding the ball. Good call. Obviously had prior opportunity.
So Carlton, their first real ask in defence for about 15 or so minutes. And they've done it well. And now they can turn this into attack as Cahill marks it at centre wing. He hands it on to a running Cottrell. This is looking ominous. The delivery inside 50s. Ball back out. And the Lions can go.
And the hand pass received there by Tunstall on centre wing. Gee, there was a little bit of over-vicious disposal there on that occasion from the Lions. Taken in a tackle is Michael Lewis. And he's been pinned for holding the ball. So a good tackle applied for the Lions here by Triffett. Toby Triffett from centre wing. Lions, of course, play Southport and the Gold Coast in their practice matches. Good pass to Coleman, who provides some run and dash. That's a well-placed ball inside 50, right onto the chest of the intended target in Mitch Cox. And he can go back and shoot from only 25 metres out, and a slight angle to contend with. Brilliant play there from Blake Coleman.
He's gotten rid of this quickly, but maybe too quickly.
He's missed. Well, it was a perfect setup. I think he fooled everyone thinking we were going to go for the shot at goal, as he probably should have. So the minor score registered. Take the ball in as Tom Williamson as a designated kicker. At least the Lions are on the board for the first time. Williamson from the last line of defence. Works it towards right half back. Flying high for the mark, Murkoff. Couldn't quite really exert his presence in the contest as much as he would have liked, and it falls out of play. Yeah, you've got to take your opportunities, particularly when you're close range in front of goal. I know it's easy from up here, but the need to rush in that situation, it's just unnecessary. Particularly when the degree of difficulty isn't that great. Murkov wins the tap. Blues sharking the pack through the aid there of Hayes. Good hand pass to his teammate there, Cahill, who works it down the line. The mark taken by this excitement machine, Jesse Motlop. He's kicked one behind already. Chip pass inboard. Finds Boyd the intended target. Got a vacant forward line if they can work it towards that 450. Chip pass marked by Murkov. Continues to roam up the ground. We'll try and draw the player here and find Boyd on the overlap. Boyd puts on the afterburners, keeps his footing in play and works it long with a direct pass inside 50. Flying high for the mark, unable to take it there was Kemp. It's still inside 450 for the Blues, but the Lions have the numbers on the counter-attack. Ball in the Coleman direction. In that centre wing area, he lost sight of the footy in the sun, and Radovanovic takes the mark. So Stefan Radovanovic works it laterally. Oh, gee, a bit of a spill there from Lewis Young. That could have been costly for the Blues, and it's holding the ball. It could well be costly. He took his eyes off the ball, was taken to ground in the end by Wiley Buzzer. He can go back and shoot from about 48 metres out. Just those little instinctive things in the early stages of the season can fool you at times if you lose concentration.
This will be 2 scoring shots that the Lions will have had on the back of Blues' mistakes inside defensive 50.
Wiley Buzzer from the arc, on the left foot, probing kick towards goal. Is it going to sneak in? No, just the minor score to the left. So 2 behind. The Lions would have thought that could have converted in this first quarter. They're trailing the Blues at the moment. So 2 out of 3, I reckon, would have been convertible from a Brisbane point of view. They're 3 behind. The Blues are 1-4-10.
26.5 minutes into this opening quarter here at Icon Park. Surprised it's gone that long, considering the fact we've only had the 1 goal kicks, but both these sides working off the cobwebs. QE went high, didn't finish the job. It was spectacular. They've been looking at both of these sides, a couple of hangers in this opening term of play. Sustained, locked inside the forward half of the ground for the Brisbane Lions, with quarter time not far away. Can they bag a major before the siren? The ball picked up off the deck by Hamilton. Able to evade traffic. Congested footy once more. That's a strong tackle. Lane in. There's Matheson, who's been very busy and very prominent in this opening quarter, Damo, as we expect from the Brisbane Lions store here. There's the ball up 55 metres out. That will be quarter time. And the Blues have a 7-point advantage at the opening change. It's Carlton, 1-4-10, leading the line. Second quarter to get underway here at Princes Park, Icon Park. And we are seeing the Carlton side leading Brisbane by 7 points as we get back underway. Early congestion will be wrapped up, and a free kick going to the Lions right out of the gate. Lohman will set it inside 50 for Brisbane. That is sensational play, but not finished off the way they wanted, as Fullerton misses to the left-hand side for the 4th behind of the afternoon for the Brisbane Lions. They trailed by 1 straight kick after half a minute in the second quarter.
Boyd kicks it in to Jack Nunes, who's the sole goal scorer in this game. He feeds it to Jordan Boyd. Along the line they go, the Blues, and it falls out of play. Just on the outer side, the city side of the ground. Basking in the sunshine, a number of these spectators and players. Good to see the VFL season back underway, obviously after a couple of years of vast disruption due to COVID. Tap one there by Murkov from the back. Was there an infringement? Yes, according to the umpire. So Lane the recipient for the Lions. They'll work it forward inside the 50. 2-on-2 contest, flying high. Buzzer couldn't quite take the mark. Quick kick out of the pack will tumble towards goal for just a minor score. In the thick of it there for Brisbane was Toby Triffett. And will be kicking the ball in, Jordan Boyd, the designated kicker for the Blues. So the Lions have certainly had their opportunities, as have Carlton. Certainly in terms of realistic opportunities inside 450. Flying high for the mark there was Tom Williamson. He was infringed upon, according to the umpire. He'll receive from left half back. Marking him there is Bruce Revel. So Williamson to clear for the Blues.
Long kick down the line into the contest. Well won by Lane. It's a little short handoff to Leicester. They'll switch the play here, Brisbane. Still looking for their first goal of the afternoon. Arnold told to play on. There's a little short pass across.
Cool.
Payne disposing of it. They'll try the outer side. Crashing the pack. It's being picked up and run into space by Aberley. He'll kick it inside forward 50. Led in the last line of defence by Ivanovic. The Blues able to defend their goal line again. Longer kick down towards the boundary line. Hurst putting himself into a big tackle from Crocker.
Oh!
And a bit of afters as well. They don't like that. Crocker laying a big tackle. And James Madden taking vast exception to it. A bit of feeling between the Blues and the Lions. A 5-point lead to Carlton. And it's going to be a free kick going to the Blues. It's going to be Crocker's free kick after he laid that tackle. The umpire didn't like the after effects. So he gets the double whammy. As Crocker will feed it to left half forwards. Ball back into the mixer. And it's been claimed on the run by Robertson, who kicks it towards forward 50. Diving in over the top is Williamson to tie the ball up. The umpire will ball it up. 3.5 minutes into this second term, Blues by 5.
I don't mind the physical pressure there applied by Ben Crocker. Just sending a message to the opposition early in this second term. That's one of his benefits. Not only is he a goal scorer, he's pretty good at applying pressure around the ground as well. Taken high was Aberley, who received the free kick 60 metres from home. Again, the Blues have congested the Lions' forward line. Aberley, spearing ball, has to be precise. Wasn't quite at the end. It was a tumbling sort of punt. Radovanovic overran it and sees it out of play. I think the intended target there was Tunstall, who was leading into that forward pocket. But the ball was a little bit too crude on that occasion. Certainly had the right idea for an option in what was a congested forward 50. As Cody Hurst comes onto the ground for the Blues, with a few interchange alterations there at ground level for both sides. Good tackle applied for the Blues by Lewis, and that was on Tunstall, and we'll have another bounce. So stoppages are plenty. We've seen a few of those. It's been very inaccurate as well. 1-4-5 behinds in this contest. Favour of the Blues. High ball, that's going to go well adrift and into the members' stand, probably 4 seats or 4 rows up. That was from Williamson. And it'll be a Brisbane free kick. As we wait for the crowd to retrieve the footy from the old members' stand. It's been standing there for many years now. Seen a lot of history over the journey. In fact, it may have been touched off the boot according to the umpire, so there was some contact, and it'll be a throw in 55 metres around from goal for the Lions. Breaking away Tunstall, set away on his right foot, screws it back towards the forward pocket. Buzzer in the air, couldn't quite take the mark. Taking the ground there is Reece Matheson, who kicked 4 goals the last time these two sides met in round 2 of 2021, and played a lone hand that day, really, goal-scoring wise. The Blues won by 69 points that day, but he was certainly a shining light as Matheson. All in deep inside the forward pocket for the Lions. Buzzer underneath it. Deft little tap. Quick kick out of the air, out of the congestion from Matheson. He was trying to go out on the outside of the boot, and it was smothered pretty successfully, and the Blues are away on the counter-attack for Nunes.
They can try their luck down the outer side as the Blues looking for the second goal of the afternoon. They lead it by 5 points still as Cottrell gets onto the loose ball. They take the very tight road in, but that's well cut off by Wilmot. Put himself into position 1A at left half back, and Brisbane can steady. Looking elsewhere at the Whitten Oval, half-time scores are level. 4 goals, 6 apiece. 30 points apiece. Here it's a 5-point Carlton lead, and that is a dangerous one to try and get out of the defensive 50. It's been handed back to Marr, and he gives it up, and now their way through Smith, the Lions. Takes one bounce, takes a second. Got it off in time, the handball, but he had to turn it over. Dow with a little short pass. Bounced in front of Marr. Couldn't get the footy. Brisbane have some openings here on the side. Buzzer marks it. He'll play on quickly, and he'll punch it up to half forward. It's sent in by McFadden to the top of the square. Couldn't take advantage, spilling the mark over the goal line. That was a golden opportunity for Triffett. Just couldn't finish it off. And the Lions, they've kicked a goal's worth of behinds, but yet to hit the major mark themselves.
The funny thing is, Jules, from that point of view, they've had gettable opportunities for marks deep inside the forward 50 that have been dropped and could have been certain goals. Nunes from centre half back feeds a hand pass off. Cottrell a long ball towards centre half forward, waiting at the back. This excitement machine, Jesse Motlop. The bounce was fickle for him. Taking advantage there was Payne for the Lions, who clears it towards centre wing over the head of Buzzer. Not often you see it go over the head of Buzzer with his height. Chance now for the Blues. Dow receiving there from Cripps. Is still in confined space. Coleman forces the turnover for the Lions. Hand pass comes out. Smith combining. Intercept converted there for the Blues. Murkov feeds it back to Williamson. Trying to go backwards to go forwards. It was a risky option and it's turned over. Lohman inside 50. They've got a 3-on-1 advantage here, the Lions, but the one wins out for the Blues. And that's through the aid of Parks, who's a very credible and composed defender. Quick kick out wide in the direction there. That was coming from Lewis Young. The mark has been taken on the outer side. Last McCasker in the road, of course. Mark taken in the corridor by Hamilton. The Blues work it through that corridor region inside 50. Again, a 3-on-1 contest in favour of the forward side, and that's Carlton on this occasion. Good tackle applied there for the Blues by Will Hayes, and we'll have a bounce. There was no prior opportunity there. The unfortunate Lions defender, and Vidas Moises. In fact, a free kick is going to be paid for holding the ball. So the umpire made the late call at the end. The non-officiating umpire, and Will Hayes will be the recipient. He did come in first. It was somewhat of a gang tackle, but he was certainly first man on the case for the Blues. He could go back and shoot from about 40 metres out, almost directly in front. So Hayes on the right foot. Can he kick the Blues second of the day? Yes, he can. Will Hayes kicks truly. The Blues move on to 2-4-16. They lead the Lions 6 behinds early going in the second term at Icon Park.
Over at the Whitten Oval half-time, scores level between the Bulldogs and Sydney for 6:30 each way. It's been hard going for both of these sides, hasn't it, Damo, to find the majors here this afternoon?
Well, they've had their opportunities, though, Jules. That's the interesting thing. The Lions have had a couple of gettable opportunities as far as marks inside 50 are concerned, which they've dropped. There's been some close range opportunities as well, set shot-wise, which they've missed. And the Blues have had their fair share of chances too. Get the sense with the first quarter of the season over and done with, the players' cobwebs might be dissipating and we'll see some cleaner footy as far as accuracy is concerned.
So back to the middle we go. It is the Blues by 10 points here at Icon Park. The opening day of the 2022 VFL season. The Blues will get it out of the middle and they can go straight back into attack again. It's played out by Cottrell.
It was a good clearance from Cottrell there. He was very good at reading the play.
And it's been given a free kick to the Lions, and Lester will swing it out to left half back, and it's marked by Cox on defensive 50. They'll just chip it forward here, Brisbane. Smith. Bit of a pass off.
Good grab.
That's grabbed just outside the centre square by Cox. On the outer wing, Brisbane still yet to kick their first goal of the season. Cox with a little show of candy. And then a long kick right to forward 50. And that is a really good mark coming up by Fullerton. He'll put it longer into the pocket. And it's balled and taken towards the boundary line. It will be seen across. Boundary throwing to come. And Brisbane have it locked inside their forward 50. Still searching for their first goal. Nearly at the 11-minute mark of this second term. It's the Blues by 10 points. 2-4-16 to 6 behinds. From the throw-in. Carlton, who are going to come out with possession. Parks receives the handball. Kicks it towards the palm trees on the outer side and finds the boundary line for a throw.
Josh Cripps seeing it over on that occasion. Lovely day for football as well in terms of the conditions, and I do wonder if fatigue may be a factor. Naturally it is. It's not as hot as probably first quarter, at least for the teams that will be undertaking a match later on this weekend. But all the same, even the 21 degree temperature, Fatigue could be a factor coming off a long pre-season. The Blues work it out through a chain of hand passes. Cottrell on the edge of the 50. Kicks it inside 50 into the path of Motlop. The excitement machine with a deft little tap into the arms of Crocker. Paddles the ball to his advantage. Works it just outside the 50. He was slung to the ground there by Revel, who in turn did a somersault to the ground as well. Lions with the numbers through Leicester. Feeds it out in a confined space. Fullerton, who's worked his way up the ground. Spears it long. It had to be a precise kick. It almost was to Henry Smith, but it's spoiled over the boundary line. Crowd progressively building up here at Icon Park as the workday officially ends. Certainly a number of key players already starring. Nunes has been in the fray. Parks as well in defence has been pretty good. This youngster, the old trudgeon, who roamed his way around the ground. I guess he's better known as a running half-back. He's certainly not been afraid to go up forward as well. So a bevy of stoppages in the last few minutes. Carlton with a 10-point advantage. The Lions just probably need to be a bit more direct with their entries inside 50. Certainly been a little bit congested as well, but that's probably been the case for both sides so far. Struggle for possession around the middle of the ground. Lane, the touch of the fumbles. Eventually it's fed out for the Blues into the arms of Will Hayes, who's kicked a goal in this quarter, but it's intercepted for the Lions by Madden. So James Madden between halfback and centre wing. Motlop standing the mark. Of course, Motlop kicked a few goals in the practice match against Richmond as well. Comes from the same school as Paddy Cripps. So good alumni there. Mark taken for the Lions between halfback and centre wing. That was by Revel, who's seen a couple of touches already. Buzzer did the old 360. Is it holding the ball? Yes. The umpire noticed that 360-degree return as well with the tackle. And the recipient for the Blues will be Jordan Boyd. So Boyd between halfback and centre wing. On the cusp of the shadows here at Icon Park. Buzzer will stand the mark. Jordan Boyd's had his moments in this game as well. Chip pass just travelled the required distance in the end. Parks has been very, very good defender roaming around, as I said. He was very good last year. Spears it down the line. Falls into the arms there of Hurst. He's had a few touches in this second term. Williamson bumps it on the boot. Works it towards half forward. Hand pass comes in the direction there of Crocker. The noted goal kicker. A bit of a fumble there from Cody Hurst as he flings his head back, knowing there was a missed opportunity despite the fact he was in a confined space. So we'll have a throw in between half forward and centre wing. So the Blues doing the bulk of the attacking in this second term, although it's been played along the wings for a fair chunk of the time. This stanza, Dow bumps it on the boot. Bit of a Twizzler inside 50. One-on-one contest. In the front spot was Marr for the Blues. Falls out the back. What can Marr do? Can he dribble it along the ground? Yes, he can. And he registers a nice finish. So Marr goals. Xavier Marr, who certainly developed significantly over the last couple of seasons as a player. Very good last year in patches. He dribbles through a goal. And the Blues have another on the board, and they're starting to accelerate the advantage here in this second term. It was very, very good opportunistic play from Xavier Marr in the pocket. He was in the initial contest, managed to run onto the loose ball, found some space. As always in that situation, with a lot of modern players, they opt for the dribble kick, and that's what he did, noting that the goal square was vacant. He's a very crafty player, playing in the midfield at the moment. He'll be at this centre bounce as well. So we're back in the middle. The Blues lead it by 16 points. 3-4 to 6 behinds. Can't say Brisbane haven't had their chances. As play resumes, Fullerton wins the tap. Playing the role of a ruckman, obviously in varying stages around the ground. There was an infringement. The Blues will win the clearance through Dow. Paddy Dow accelerates his approach and works it long inside 50. Crocker was waiting out the back. Tap forward in the direction there for the Lions of Tunstall. He's taken the ground. A good crunching tackle, and we'll have yet another bounce. About 40 metres around from the Blues goal. So, in terms of disposal, I think the standard has lifted somewhat in the second terms in terms of cleanliness. And pass comes out for the Blues. That was by Hamilton, who's certainly made his presence known Originally started as an emergency for Carlton today. Hand pass to Marr. Tries to break clear. Certainly gaining momentum. Hamilton dribbles it towards full forward. Crocker's caught behind. He applies the pressure with a good tackle. Sees the path open for Cottrell, and he snaps into the face of the behinds in that occasion. He had every opportunity to straighten up, but unfortunately worked it onto the left foot and only a minor score. So the Blues are 3-5-23. Brisbane 6 behind. Quick changeover. Fullerton marks deep inside the defensive zone for the Lions. Been very versatile in this contest, working into the ruck and also roaming around the ground. Moises. The Lions favouring the outer side on this occasion. Long ball coming in from the side as a floater to provide the spoil is Boyd, who's been a good acquisition in this game. Hand pass though into the corridor. Fullerton runs onto the loose ball. Spearing ball towards centre half forward. Taking it on the half volley there is McFadden. Feeds a chance from the 50. McFadden sees the goal square unguarded. It bounces through for a behind in front there of Parks, the Carlton defender, and we'll have another behind to the Brisbane total. That's 7 for them.
Still waiting for that first goal for them this afternoon. Can't quite find it as yet. It's the Blues leading by 16 points. It's on the outer side. Starting to get the reward for their efforts in this first half. An open space here on the outer wing. Going long inside 50. Looking for Kemp. It's gone out of bounds, but once again the Blues lock it in. They're attacking half of the ground, leading by 16 points over at the Whitten Oval. It is still half-time. Scores are level there.
Dogs have come back into it, of course. They were the top side before the lockdown last year in the VFL.
So the ball back into play. Hitting out is Murkoff. On the ground it is. Umpire will ball it up.
And we've seen Cottrell come into the game as well. Crocker starting to exert his presence after starting the game on the bench. So some of those excitement machine players for the Blues are starting to lift.
Sit back outside of attacking 50 for the Blues. Brisbane holding on for now. 3-5-23 to 7 behinds. We're getting close to time on in this second term here at Icon Park. Be able to swing it back around. In the back, free kick. It's going to go to Carlton. Chincotta. Just forward to the wing. Passes back inbound. Finds Parks.
Got options aplenty in the corridor.
He'll go low with a punching kick. Here's some space. Can they get the finish? Looks good off the boot. It is. That is a magnificent goal. Paddy Dow putting his hand up. And the Blues are away. They're 4-5-29. Carlton to Brisbane. 7 behind, 7 points as we enter time on in the second quarter.
And Paddy Dow found the space on that occasion. That was good penetrating ball movements in terms of finding the corridor. They had the opportunities, I think, to switch the ball laterally there, the Blues, but ultimately Dow found space. Certainly did utilise his strong kicking leg. I know he's got capabilities, and I know it's been a debating point as to his role in the senior team for the Blues, Paddy Dow. Certainly when he's up and about, he's capable of great things, even though it's been a source of consternation and debate. But the Blues in this game, anyway, are starting to career away as we approach the cusp of half-time.
So back in the middle. The Blues get the win through Hayes. Spun it off to Dow. He's going to go straight through the corridor. Going back with the flight is Wilmot, who marks at half-back.
Great mark.
Now Brisbane can explore the outer wing. They won't want to go into half-time without a goal on the board. That would be as disastrous as a first half for them, as you could imagine, in this first game of the season. Their second campaign in the VFL. They weren't able to complete it last time around. Nobody was. But for Brisbane this year, they'll be looking to really establish themselves much in a way that their Queensland counterpart Southport did last season. They were really the sensations of the VFL competition. As they punch it inside forward 50. Here's a chance. Can it be finished? Finally, they got one on the board. Fullerton kicks Brisbane's first goal of the season. It's taken them 21 and a half minutes of the second quarter to do it. But the Lions have their first goal of the 2022 VFL campaign.
And Tom Fullerton, he's a very nimble mover for a tall man. We've seen that exemplified already in this contest. He's been good at running from one end of the ground to the other very quickly, and that's what you want from a big fella. He was very, very crafty there with that good snapshot as well. So he's a very competent player in all facets of the game, and that's what you want, particularly for someone who's got great athleticism for a tall bloke. He's quite an asset to this Lions side. So they're finally on the board, Jules. 1-7-13. Carlton 4-5-29. Either side really taking full toll of their opportunities. We're back in the middle. Fullerton, on a wave of confidence, will compete in the ruck contest here. Of course, the Lions, in regards to their season in 2021, lost their last 4 matches, so they'd be keen to atone for that. Murkoff had free rein out of that contest, and as a consequence, Dow trying to pick the ball up at centre half forward with momentum. He's taken to ground. Held to him, will have a bounce, 55 out for the Blues goal. It'd be the perfect response if they could get a quick major after the Lions entered the board with their first major of the day. In the road there for the Lions was Michael, who hoisted it high. Loban, a touch of the fumbles, paddled it out. Fullerton, gang tackle to the ground. Good tenacity exemplified there from Cahill, and will have a bounce just outside the arc for the Blues. See if Crocker can come on and really exert his stamp on the game. And a couple of touches in this quarter. Swung around by Hayes inside the forward pocket. Crocker is waiting in the wings there along with Motlop. The high ball. Munes almost took the mark. Quick kick out of the pack there, and just knowing he sprayed it as soon as he kicked it, Will Hayes just threw it on the boot. Goes adrift, and it's gone out on the full. So Lester will be the recipient in the left back pocket for the Lions. Can they add another major on the cusp of half time? Probably hasn't been indicative of the way the game has been played. Lester spears it to centre half back. Mark taken by Michael, and they're away through the corridor here, the Lions. Good dash, good run and carry exemplified by Madden. Takes a couple of bounces, works it long towards full forward. His kick let him down, really. Had a couple of options short, instead opted to go long, and Williamson was in the road for the Blues, and they can work it through on the counter-attack to Radovanovic.
Leading by 16 points here, Carlton. 24 minutes gone in the second term here at Icon Park. They work it up to Murkoff between halfback and centre wing on the outer side. The handball wasn't clean. Lions tying it up. If they can have another goal before half time, Brisbane, I was going to say, well, they'd be quite happy considering how this first half has gone. But Glass McCasker marks it. 55 out from goal. Looking for options.
Crocker's at full forward. I think he's pretty keen and eager to go for it himself here, Glass McCasker. Taking the initiative. Crocker's going to wait for the drop at the top of the goal square. He is a good long kick, though. He's certainly probably right on his range.
Has he got 60 metres in him, though? Well, he doesn't choose to go that time. Passes off to Ivanovic. It's just to the right of the numbers, about 50 metres out.
It's good intelligent play there from Radovanovic. He took the ball virtually at half-back, at right half-back. He's worked his way up the ground. A good lesson for young players. Even when the contest is out of your area, you keep following the football, trying to find and present it as an option, and that's what he's done here when the Lions least expected it.
Trots his way towards 50. Sends it goalward. He'll have the distance, not the accuracy. It's behind. Margin 17 to the Blues. 25 and a half minutes gone in the second quarter. Third quarter underway at the Whitten Oval, and the Bulldogs have hit the front. Footscray over Sydney by 7 points. 3 minutes gone.
Carter Michael to bring the ball back into play for the Lions. And the designated kicker for them, Motlop standing the mark. So Michael works it towards right half back. A cooey flew high, and a good spoil effective for the Blues there by Jordan Boyd, who's really impressed me in this first half. He's been around the contest. He's been very good at reading the play. And he's applied the 1%ers as well, not just the skillful stuff. He's one that starred so far in this first half. Cottrell coming onto the ground for the Blues after a bit of a spell. Coleman looking to come on for the Lions. See if he can initiate some spark. The umpires look to retrieve the footy there. Obviously went over the fence out towards that legend stand region, where a number of spectators are sitting enjoying the action as well. Fine conditions, top temperature of 21 degrees today. Obviously cool down as the evening ensues. Trying to break clear of the pack is Matheson. Tunstall at right half back. Works it high. Flying high for the mark for the Lions there was Cox. He was underneath it. Scragged to the ground was Cox. It was a good tackle from Jordan Boyd. Forces the turnover though the Lions. Lohman with a torpedo punt was sort of a half spiral part, hard Twizzler towards centre half forward. Intercepting in the road there is Lewis Young. They work it around the outer side. Nunes finds Motlop on the lead. Takes it on the chest. Motlop on the right foot. The excitement machine chips it short. And a few options here. Trying to break clear of the pack is Glass McCasker. Really took a full toll with that tackle. Hand pass back to Glass McCasker. He received it there from Trudgeon. So across that half-forward line for the Blues. Eventually they find space. Williamson marks. Works it inside 50. And Tom Williamson's kick in the end went astray. Good mark taken on the last side of defence for the Lions. That was by Payne. He certainly felt some pain there from Crocker in that marking contest. And he can clear for Brisbane.
They lead by 17 points as we hit the final stages of this first half. Good mark at the back of the pack by Fullerton. He gave it off to a running Smith. He kicks into the forward half of the ground. The Lions short on numbers. And that's what allows the Blues to get back and defend. Holding on to this lead, Nunes takes a bounce, runs into the centre square. His kick, looking to try and find half forward, was cut off. It was always going to drop short of Madden, the beneficiary there for the Lions. 4-6-30 to 1-7-13. Brisbane switched the play out to the right-hand side. Robertson go up and down with the kick to Coleman. It's given plenty of room to dispose of this one. Oh, the courage! Going flying into that pack. That was painful. As Cottrell wins that back for the Blues. And they can go into attack again. Looking at half forward, looking for Kemp. The boundary line wins out. And that was a heavy collision. Just eyes for the ball there.
Glass McCasker, he's feeling his right wrist by the looks of it.
Round one showing tenacity required. That's just the commitment to the cause there from Glass McCasker. He's still feeling it behind the play. Meanwhile at the throwing, can the Blues get one more before half time? Looking for some spaces, Cottrell. Puts it up to the top of the square. On the ground, tied in. The umpire's going to pay a free kick to the Lions. Right on the goal line. And it's sent outbound to Matheson, who takes the mark.
Matheson chips the pass towards right half back. Lester presents as an option. On the transition, he chips it short methodically to James Madden, who's had a couple of touches in the last 5 minutes. Madden's got a couple of options out wide. He opts to go towards the members' wing. Mark taken there by Offermans. Go backwards to go forwards. I wonder if they'll just be content to hold the play up before half time here, the Lions, as Lester marks once again. The Blues have done well to man up down the ground. Lester chips it short. Just playing keepings off for the moment. Pretty content at this point to see it out to half time, you would think. James Madden again. Almost at centre half back now with the kick. Finds Lester, who's forced to play on. He's placed under pressure. It's a fickle ball. Will they get out of it here? The Lions. A good tackle applied by Nunes. Forces a turnover. Shot towards goal from Hurst. It's an unguarded square. He had the opportunity and unfortunately it's squandered towards the right and only a minor score. 4-7-31 the Blues. They've had their fair share of opportunities. The Lions have been also inaccurate. As Smith marks and the half-time siren blares at Icon Park on opening night of the 2022 Smithies VFL season. Carlton.
Here we go, the bounce to start the second half of play here at Icon Park. It's Carlton, the Navy Blues, up against the Brisbane Lions, and they take it out of the middle through Hayes. The Blues, the kick straight to full forward, socket off the ground by Hurst towards the pocket. But they'll be able to clean their blushes here, the Lions. A kick down the line, juggled once upon a time off the chest and marked by Williamson. He'll open up the angle. Put it back to the hot spot. Bodies fly, no mark. Useless now for the Lions. Hands it off to Robertson. He'll kick it outbound towards the palm trees. And it will roll out of bounds. It's watched across by Jordan Boyd.
How good has Jordan Boyd been today? 12 disposals. I know that's not a big accumulation count, but his work around the packs and just applying pressure on the opposition has been superb. And he's been pretty good at trying to win the contested footy as well. So whilst he's not at the top of the possession count, he's been very influential.
Ball thrown back into play. Running on and catching it is Murkov in the ruck. He's going to run with his back to goal, trying to open up the angle for something to present. Instead it's been lost, and Loban now with it. A little worm-burning kick along the deck, putting it into Brisbane's forward half, but the Blues have the numbers at the back and they can reload. Option in the middle of the ground here. That's where they go. It's a nice turn and step and manoeuvre. Put in by Mark, kicks it inside 50, unable to play it where he wanted it to get it, but it's sent towards goal and sent to the right-hand side for a behind.
The Blues obviously move on. Bevy of behinds so far in this contest, 4-8 to 1-7. Saw Mara in that passage of play as well. Kicked a very, very classy goal along the ground with a dribbler at the opposite end in the second term. That certainly reinvigorated the side to a certain extent. So the Lions have it deep inside the defensive zone. Standing the mark for the Blues is Glass McCasker, who certainly recovered from a heavy knock that he endured in that second term. Slapped forward by Boyd once again. Very good at the 1%ers is Boyd. He's exemplified that so far today. Try to break clear as Marr again. Spearing ball inside 50. Motlop. Try to take it on the half volley. Swings round onto the right foot. Snap towards goal. Strays off to the right. And another minor score for the Blues. They're 4-9-33. And the Lions 1-7-13 in what has been an inaccurate display on the scoreboard, it's fair to say, Julian Marcus.
Just doing the maths in my head. It's 5 goals. 5 goals, 16 between the two sides. So very much round one fair. That is a nice mark from Smith. The back of the pack takes the mark on the halfback flank for the Lions. 5 goals, 16 between these two thus far. Hugging the boundary line with that drop punt, and it's intercepted by Williamson. Put it back into the centre square. Threading through with a nice disruption is Tunstall. And now he's going to receive the kick. He got a hand on it. He's kept away from it by Cottrell. Tries the second time. Now the third time. The Blues have it. They got the numbers down back. Spinning around. Trudge it. Plays it outbound. Well composed by the Blues. Crocker will send it short to Motlop.
Oh, hasn't he been an excitement machine in the little glimpses we've seen? Jesse Motlop on the outer side of the ground. He'd score a couple of goals. That would certainly cap off a decent display. First up for the Blues as it's seed over the line for Carlton by Cody Hurst, who's had his moments in the game as well. He's racked up 7 possessions and he's been a little bit of a terrier in and under. Not quite an exceptional ball winner, but he's certainly got the enthusiasm. So there's been an infringement of the ruck contest here. It's going to be picked out, going the way of the Lions. Lane to be the recipient. Worked well against Murkov in this game. They switch it around with string of hand passes. Robertson on the outer side of the ground. Taken there in one effort by Matheson. On the half volley, Tunstall couldn't quite grab it. That's a good tackle applied by Buzzer. Is it going to be holding the ball? The umpires have been hot on that in this contest, but it'll be just a stoppage. From a Brisbane point of view in terms of possession winners, I've had a few around the ground. Certainly Ryan Lester has been good in defence with 20 disposals. So work it out here, the Blues. Hurst receiving from Hayes. With the 1-2, Hurst kicks it inside 50. He was trying to find the intended target, Crocker, who was caught behind and probably out-positioned in the end. He was trying to lead up and take the grab. In the end, it was intercepted for the Lions by Wilmot. Wilmot deep in defence. Gee, I don't know if that was the full measure. It's intercepted. Hand pass comes out from Glass McCasker, and Crocker on the boot. Steers it through for a major. After a big 2021, he's on the board with a goal.
Well, they got clear now, the Blues. They're well and truly away. Out to a 26-point lead here at Icon Park as the sun begins to fade. Crocker finishing off that play. Last McCasker working the turnover. It's another mistake at the back from the Lions that's cost them with another goal. We've seen that a few times in this game. Some of those mistakes from the Lions at the back. Been punished into goals by the Blues.
It's a dangerous player, Crocker. No question about that. Just scouting the packs. Good reader of the play, knows where to lead as well. And a couple of times where the hole has been filled.
So it's 6-16 now between the two. Back in the middle. The hit out from Murkoff for the Blues. Then he dumps in with a big tackle, does Murkoff, and the advantage being played down, punches it inside 50. It falls for Glass. McCasker should finish, and he does. They're on a roll now, the Blues. And they might be heading over the top of the horizon already.
Well, the floodgates are certainly opening now, aren't they, Jules? Glass McCasker was very nimble once again in that passage of play. Set up the last goal for Crocker. Comes in on the outside of the boot and manages to steer that one through. And it's just reward. He's worked pretty hard in this contest as well. Hasn't been a big ball winner with 10 disposals to his name. But he certainly is one to watch out for. I know he came off the ground briefly when he was crunched in a big tackle. The Blues starting to open up a significant advantage in the context of this game as well, where majors have been hard to come by. We've seen a bevy of behinds so far, as you mentioned, Jules. So we're back in the middle. Significant advantage now, 32 points in favour of the Blues. 7 minutes into this third quarter. Murkoff to contest. This time he's firing up against Smith, who's taking the ruck duties, taking over from Lane, trying to break clear. Robertson feeds the hand pass out. They need a quick goal here, the Lions. Smith feeds it off to his right. The running support provided by Mitch Cox, who works it long to goal, and it just strays to the right. And only a minor score. So the Lions 1 goal 8. You've read that correctly. 1 goal 8, 14. Trailing the Blues 6-9, 45.
Well, it's not going to help chasing in singles.
Well, unless you're pretty close to the target in cricket.
I was going to say. Might be able to knock 6 runs off, but not a 31-point lead. Still plenty of time in this game, though. 8 minutes into the third term. Blues will look to explore down the broadcast side wing. Rare excursion down here for them this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. Cahill loses it out. It's taken by Arnold and sent back whence it came. Going ahead over the football. Zakui. Wrapped in by Matheson. Zakui has a second dip. Still on the ground. The umpire letting this go a while. Over the top of it is Ma. The umpire will finally rest the ball free.
Dominic Akui is the first player to join the club at this level from the Carlton Academy as well. He came through the Northern Knights region as far as the NAB League is concerned. Born in Sudan, of course. And he's got a very good vertical leap. Very good interceptor. Utilising his height brilliantly.
Boundary throw in. It's on the half-forward flank for the Lions. Looking to add to their 1 goal tally. About 3.5 quarters of footy here at Icon Park. But nothing's coming easy for them.
Certainly not. Seen Motlop again applying the tackling pressure. I think that's something that you can work on as well, aside from goal scoring now, applying the pressure on the opposition to try and lock the ball in.
That's what Carlton are doing to a T right now. Hayes laying the tackle this time, and umpire will ball it up. Smith the last man up. So at the hit out, Murkoff again taps it down, heads towards the boundary line. Will just stay in the field of play. Again, everything coming so difficult right now for the Brisbane Lions. The pressure from the Blues around the footy is enormous.
Just on Will Hayes, who is in there as well. He's come across from the Bulldogs, trained with Carlton during the off-season as part of their setup. Son of David Hayes, the legendary horse racing trainer.
Sent back towards forward 50 by Michael. It's marked by Lohman. Umpire's just going to pay a warning this one. Lohman, low and hard, but
Jeez.
Straight down the waiting gullet of the opposition, and another opportunity burned for the Brisbane Lions. That one an easy take for Young.
So Young down the line. Works in that direction, trying to feed off the pack there is Chincotta. Does it well at a confined space. Hand pass comes back to his teammate in Radovanovic, and Motlop takes it at centre wing. So Jesse Motlop, what can he produce? Can he provide a spark? That should be 50 metres. Yeah, that was silly. So
the last thing you need in a situation like this, you're down 31 points, that's a real cheapie.
Certainly is, and the recipient will be Cody Hurst. Beneficiary when really it should have been a rudimentary mark. Just wasn't necessary because he was out of the contest Oasis on that occasion. So a big opportunity for Cody Hurst. He'll be kicking from 47 metres out, slightly worse off than a 45-degree angle. It's pretty stagnant up forward, so he'll either set it up to the top of the goal square or shoot for the goals himself. Hurst will wheel onto the left foot, sets it up to the top of the goal square. Players converge. Balls to ground level. Oh, just dancing through the pack with consummate ease. It's stacked across the face at the end. We set it up for Paddy Dow, and unfortunately he's kicked it across the face for a behind. Was lucky to sneak in for a behind on that occasion. So as a result, the Blues do extend their lead, and a poor kick out, and the turnover executed there. That was from Ma, and he can go back and shoot for goal number 2. Well, that was terrible defensive play in the end. Again, a couple of times where the Lions haven't been under much pressure and the Blues have just executed either a turnover or just been the beneficiary of a penalty.
Just the simple things hurting the Lions here.
Xavier Marr from 48 metres out, directly in front. Travels towards the goal face, and this time again it's offline. So to the left, a minor score. They're racking up the behinds at the moment, but you can get the sense unless the Lions can come back, the Blues are in for the kill.
7 goals, 19 for the evening thus far between the two sides. Definitely round 1 kicking yips, although I'm sure that will not be an excuse that either coach will be too eager to use on the back of this.
Well, that's right. That's a good point you make.
Still relatively in the balance. 33-point margin. 13 minutes into the third quarter here at Icon Park. Ball thrown in. Gaza got to the front, knocked it down to the ground. Chasing it towards the boundary line is Chinkotto, and he'll see it over the boundary.
Yeah, there's been a number of developments, I suppose, off the field for the Blues. They've had a pretty hard pre-season as well. No, the effect that COVID's had on the club, it hasn't really affected their on-field performance in the AFL. The AFL have been pretty good at standing up under adversity as well.
And the throw knocked down to Tunstall, swings it across the body towards half forward, and will be seen across the boundary line by Young. Boundary throw in. The other game being played at the Whitten Oval. So Swans by 19 points over Footscray. 3 minutes into the final term in what's been a seesawing affair. That one getting underway half an hour prior to this one. So that was the season opener. This is the second game of the 2022 VFL season, as Smith socketed along the ground. Handball towards the boundary line by Tunstall. High tackle. Free kick to the Lions. Well, if they're any chance of reeling this back, they've got to make the most of this opportunity. Robertson sends it to the goal square, and right at the front, it is a really strong mark in defence by Young. They've had all the answers, Carlton, when it comes to defence. They haven't had to do a whole heap of it this afternoon at different points, Damo, but it's been very impressive, the Carlton backline, when they've been called upon, although you give them a rap, and that's exactly what they punish you with.
Radovanovic's kick was a little bit too crude over the head of Dow on that occasion. So Buzzer to be the recipient. He's 55 out from home. Coleman's in the pocket. He slips over, unfortunately. Just misread it on that occasion, and Young, the beneficiary, to clear for the Blues, but only momentarily. Turns it straight over to Lohman. So Lohman from Western Victoria, sporting a nice mullet as well. Kick inside 50. It's intercepted by Radovanovic. And he can clear laterally for the Blues. They've got options across the defensive goal face here. Hand pass received from Williamson. That was from Boyd originally. Williamson down the line. They've got options on the overlap here to the Blues. Hamilton strolls down the open fling and the flank as well. Mark taken by Cahill. Cahill at true centre wing. Works it laterally, finds his teammate in Boyd, who's been a star in this contest. Chips it short, just travelled the required meterage barely there. Chincotta marks. Pretty keen to give it off. Blues with a big chance. Inside 50, it's a congested forward line. The pack converges, big fly, no mark able to be taken. Clearing is Wilmot for the Lions. They're still under pressure. Motlop applying the tackle. A good crunching tackle there. Almost forces the turnover. That was applied on Cox. Still the hand pass yet to come out. Eventually it falls into the arms there of Hayes. Working backwards to go forwards here, the Blues. Hayes dodges a would-be tackler. Feeds it back, and the high ball. There's a player down behind play. They're going to have to stop it here. And I think the mark might be paid, incidentally, because it was a situation where Brodie Kemp was down, and the mark was taken by Cottrell as soon as the umpire blew the whistle. So it is going to come back for a ball up because it was just before Cottrell took the mark. But he was trying to con the umpire into taking the set shot.
It was a very line ball situation, that's for sure. But it's back again inside forward 50 for the Blues. Looking to extend this lead. It's Cahill sending it towards goal. The breeze has carried it home. And the Blues are looking the goods at Icon Park. Out to a 39-point lead, 16 and a half minutes into the third term.
And Ned Cahill hasn't had too much of the footy today, just the 6 disposals coming into that kick, but it was a well-weighted ball. He utilised the breeze, which has picked up a little bit over the last 10 to 15 minutes, probably since half-time after it was a relatively still late afternoon, and he's worked that back to perfection. As you said, Jules, utilising the breeze, and the Blues starting to kick away a bit. Another couple on the board, and could well be over.
Well, as he kicked that, we could feel the biggest gust of breeze come through this commentary position here for the afternoon.
Divine intervention.
And it was blowing towards us here in the grandstand. So certainly the gods are with the Blues today.
So back in the middle, Carlton with a significant advantage now. 39 points the margin. They've really kicked clear since half-time. Murkoff to contest, and he'll win the tap. The bounce was fortuitous for him. Picking up the clearance there is Matheson for the Lions. Swung round the body towards centre half forward. Again, the Carlton defence up to the task. Radovanovic works the old 1-2 with his teammate there in Marr. They work it through the corridor. Radovanovic towards centre half forward. Going back with the flight. Kemp unable to take the mark. Still a chance for the Blues across centre half forward. Lions can clear through Wilmot, who got the hand pass out. Eventually it ends up with Payne. Works it towards the outer wing with the kick. It's a well-weighted ball. And the road for the Lions there. Lohman chips it short. Finds Triffett. True centre wing position. Spearing ball towards centre half forward. Finds Matheson the intended target. Too far out to score. Off a step. Sends it high. 2-on-1 contest. Waiting at the back. Almost taking the mark there was Revel. Is it going to be paid? It is going to be a Revel kick from inside 50. He'll be booting it from a 45-degree angle. Maybe slightly worse off. And this is a much-needed goal in the context of this game for Brisbane.
Just their second at the 18-minute mark of the third quarter. Nothing's come easy for the Lions today. A lot of that has been of their own doing, but you've got to pay full credit to the Blues' defence. It's been sensational when called upon.
So Fullerton's been the sole goal scorer for the Lions so far in this game. Can Revel add to the tally? It's a well-weighted ball, and he's kicked truly. The Lions have their second after a long, long drought, and they keep themselves alive just. The pulse is still beating for Brisbane.
33 the margin here in favour of the Blues. At the Whitten Oval, it's 26 in favour of Sydney. 9-11-65 to 5-9-39. Would you consider that an upset if Sydney are able to get over Footscray today?
I suppose based off last season, but nothing can probably be considered an upset when we haven't seen a heck of a lot of VFL football for the last 2 seasons. But the Dogs were the informed side in 2021, and I expected them to win, particularly when they're playing at home as well, at their spiritual home at the Whitten Oval. But today I'm not overly surprised if the Blues do get up. They do have a good record. Obviously, we mentioned last time they met Brisbane, they won convincingly by 69 points, but there's been more of a plethora of contributions goal-scoring-wise.
So back into the centre of Icon Park. The floodlights really taking effect now. At the bounce, it's an uncontested hit out for Lane. If they can jag another quick one here, they might have some momentum, the Lions, which is something they haven't had all afternoon. But just as quickly as that thought bubble appeared, Nunes sends it outbound, and it's taken by Cox. It looked like it was cleaned up high. Umpire says it was fine. Matheson receives it in the centre square. Just short of time on now in this third quarter. Long kick in the direction of Lohman. Couldn't finish the mark. It's going to be a free kick his way. And this is the most momentum Brisbane have had for quite some time.
Got to capitalise on it.
Absolutely. They're 2 goals, 8 for the evening. And Lohman, by the judge of this, looks like he's going to try and back himself from just beyond 50.
from the Greater Western Victoria Rebels, as I mentioned, in the NAB League. Good speed, evasion. He's got a good vertical leap as well. He's a very big talent, very athletic as well.
They all pile in on the goal line. We'll see if Lohman has the journey in him. He does. It's accuracy that's the issue, and he hasn't been able to negotiate that. In 2 goals, 9 now, the Lions, trailing by 32 points.
So Boyd brings it back into play. The designated kicker for the Blues works it to right half back. Will Hayes marks just inside the field of play in front of Coleman there. Now Will Hayes, former Bulldog, chips it short. Finds the intended target in Williamson. They've been pretty methodical in their ball movement, the Blues. There have been a couple of occasions where they've made a quick coast-to-coast transition through the corridor or through the outer wing, but largely it's been the chip passes that have brought them forward. Williamson does just that to Lewis. Lewis at right half-back. Just trying to find an open path towards goal. Going to work it laterally across the defensive goal face here. So Williamson and Akui is making a lead. Young with the ball now. Chips it short. Is that mark just inside the line there from Boyd? The umpire says no. It'll be a Brisbane ball. So again, an unforced error really. Can the Lions capitalise on it? They've had a few opportunities. Pretty congested forward line here for Brisbane. High ball to the top of the goal square. Akui will fly high for the Blues. Forces the spoil to ground level. Big chance here. Hand pass comes in the direction of Robertson, who snaps towards goal, but again going askew. A minor score. Another one for the Lions. There have been plenty of them, and they continue to add to that tally.
2 goals, 10 now, Brisbane.
2-10-22. The Blues 7-11-53.
You said it's not a particularly difficult day goal kicking wise. We've mentioned a breeze, but it's only been late arriving, so oh dear. This is a gift-wrapped opportunity. Can Coleman take advantage? Doing the team thing. They've made it too difficult for themselves. They're taking a green line and turned it into a difficulty of 10. There's still an opportunity for them. Who wants to have a shot on goal? Dow's going to just take it out of there.
Nobody.
And ultimately, that is a case of being too selfless. You can imagine the Brisbane coaches box just down the road from us here. Just watching that. That was a golden opportunity. No one wanted to be the one to take it. And now the Blues have it at centre wing on this near side through Motlop. Well, they won't get a better opportunity, Brisbane. Knight by Truncheon just forward of the wing. Can Carlton really make them pay? Not quite. Intercept marked by Lester at halfback.
The disposal at times has been poor, hasn't it? Lester chips it short to Triffett. They work it through the corridor. The Lions, can they execute with a goal here? Lester keeps running, gives it to Coleman, streams towards half forward from 60 metres out, finds the option in Lohman, and he marks on the edge of the goal square. And surely here their goal scoring woes can end as he shoots from the top of the square.
Please tell me he's going to be the one to shoot this. I don't want to see a hand pass to a running man.
Nah, he
just go back and kick it over the umpire's hat.
He was very good at the draft combine, actually, particularly with a number of the sprints, Kai Lohman. So he's got plenty of potential.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen out of him this afternoon.
Lohman, the boy from Western Victoria, from directly in front. Kicks truly. The Lions finally have their third major on the board. That was good transition through the corridor, and they are finally rewarded. They're 3-10-28, trailing the Blues 7-11-53, and there's still a chance in this contest.
Plenty of love for the Lions down here, as always. The old Fitzroy fans of old.
Fitzroy used this ground as a home ground for a brief period in the early 70s, I think, just before they moved to the Junction Oval, or the late 60s.
I was going to say, was there a ground in Melbourne that Fitzroy didn't use at some point?
They used Victoria Park, the Whitten Oval, the Junction Oval, Brunswick Street Oval. Probably played a home game at the MCG at some point.
The old Roy boys.
They still have their fair contingent, don't they? Whenever there's a Brisbane game at either VFL or AFL level, they still turn up, and that's the case based on the noise today.
Of course, still running around at VFL level.
Yes.
Here in Melbourne. Certainly, that wherever the Lions go, there is always a big following down here, the home of footy.
Recall that.
Tomorrow they get the chance to watch the seniors over at Marvel playing the Bombers.
Gee, the Bombers will be fired up, won't they?
Oh, that's going to be a real litmus test for them, isn't it? There's a real gut check now for Carlton. Under some pressure for the first time, really, this afternoon. It's back to 25 points. They get the clearance. Sending it back inside 50. But They're too good at the fall here. Wilmot spinning around the tackle. Turned it over. Hayes on the run. Shoveled the hand pass off to Cahill. Umpire calls the whistle. Free kick going to Brisbane. So 25.5 minutes into the third term. It's a 25-point lead to the Blues. But Brisbane have suddenly found some momentum as Robertson went flying high at the back. Couldn't get the complete mark. Handball on the ground. Hayes hats it towards attack. It's with Aberley now for Brisbane. Loses possession. Hayes slides in. Looking to wrap the ball up. Aberley skids out of his hands. Looking to try and give it to Matheson. He has it now to Matheson, and he walked over the boundary line. The umpire says throw it in.
Yeah, good pressure applied from Trudgeon as well, who's certainly accumulated plenty of the ball off half back. He had a bit of a stint in the forward area as well. He's been one of the key ball winners. Obviously, in terms of his position count, 16 for today. Will Hayes leading that count for the Blues with 25 disposals, particularly since quarter time. He's been influential. Speaking of influential, Dow feeds it off. Oh, that was a crunching tackle high on Trudgeon. He ran into a brick wall there. And Lohman probably a little bit too exuberant. And 50 metres. Wow. Didn't give it back to him on the full, and they're going to pay a very high price here, just as the Lions were building momentum. Another unforced error in terms of discipline.
It's been the story, hasn't it, for the Lions?
Certainly has. Joel Trudgeon, if he can take full toll here, it'll be a real psychological blow for the Brisbane Lions, who had strung some goals together. Of course, from the Northern Knights, Joel Trudgeon, as he trudges in here, averaged 29.6 disposals at NAB League level in 2021. And Trudgeon trudges into goal and puts it straight through to certainly rub salt into Brisbane's wound, and the margin now out to 31 points.
So a key major just in front of three-quarter time. Again, it's still not beyond Brisbane, but when you've kicked 3 goals across 3 quarters of football, it certainly doesn't indicate it, but stranger things have happened. But it does seem like the last 10 minutes up until that moment there, they started to work things out, Brisbane.
Yeah, there's no doubt. They had built a little bit of momentum. They did squander some opportunities, but when you give away a 50-metre penalty which launches the opposition right in front of goal like that, it has to be a psychological blow, because it was just gift-wrapped, as you said. And they didn't take advantage of their gift-wrapped opportunity inside their forward line.
No. All for the selfless thing, but in that case, it was a little too selfless against the Lions there. As we're back in the centre, is there time for Brisbane to get that goal back? The umpire's going to recall this one.
Buzzer coming into the ruck, trying to exude a little bit of presence there in that ruck contest. Certainly got their fair share of tools, the Lions.
Throw it up in the air, Buzzer the hit out. Tracking it is Smith, unable to chain it down. Sharking it is Dow. Got the handball free, but it's wrapped up. Tackle laid by Offerman. The umpire will ball it up. 28.5 minutes into the third term is Carlton 8:11.59. Brisbane 3:10.28 here at Icon Park. So the ball up, Tunstall. Lost out. Motlop hurried the kick forward, straight through the corridor. Out the back is Madden waiting for it. He's tackled and dumped in the ground by Cahill. Umpire pins him. Cahill will hand it on to a sprinting Hayes, who goes to full forward. Bounces past everybody. And it's going to go out of bounds in the right forward pocket for the Blues.
How good has Will Hayes been? 26 disposals so far. We're not even at three-quarter time yet. He's been a big ball winner. He's not afraid to go down into defence as well, trying to apply the pressure, but he's been a big accumulator in this game, coming across from Footscray, of course. Deep inside the forward pocket for the Blues. Contesting here is Cripps. Forced it to ground level. Trying to break clear for the Lions there is Smith. Didn't really get very far. Through the mire is Trudgeon. Can he kick another one? No, he can't. Off for a minor score to the left. So the Blues move on. 8-12 to 3-10. Unless the Lions can capture something towards three-quarter time, it's difficult to see them getting back into the contest. High ball towards left half back. It's a good mark in front. Good positioning there from Henry Smith. Just inside the field of play. Led Burkhoff to the ball. It's what you got to do as an imposing tall. So Smith wheels onto the right foot. Gains some meterage and sends it towards centre wing. Flying high for the mark, Young. Couldn't quite take it. Coleman, like a zipper out of a cannon, works it towards half-forward. Parks takes the mark uncontested. It was a risky kick across the face towards centre half-back. Nunes takes the mark, and they're away on the overlap here, the Blues. Crocker working his way up the ground. Usually we see him in the forward line. Kick probably let him down a fraction. Chance now, great endeavour there for the Lions from Cox. Works it towards half-forward. On the bounce, Robertson. Can he kick a miraculous goal? Instead he opts to lower the eyes, chip it short, and down the throat of McFadden, who can go back and hopefully, for the Lions' sake, try and keep their chances alive. It's going to be an acute angle to contend with, though.
Pretty much in front of the three-quarter time siren. Again, if they can put this through, they're within 5 goals, a 26-point margin. So definitely take that if you're Brisbane.
So Connor McFadden, who was taken from the Lions Academy in the 2018 AFL draft. Been part of that academy since the age of 11. Waltzes in from the pocket. Can he split the middle? No, he can't. And a disappointing result there for McFadden. Only a minor score. So the Lions is continuing to drift away the opportunities. Mark taken out wide for the Blues. Motlop has been very, very good in the clinches. Chip pass. Finds Nunes at half-back. Can they work it through the corridor? He's called to play on Nunes. Off a step. Works it towards the middle. Motlop taking it on the half volley. Good evasion. Good composure as well. Works it laterally to Cottrell. Cottrell with a hand pass to Radovanovic. Can he break clear of the tackle? Good composure again. Waits for Cottrell to find space. And he claims it as the siren sounds. And it's three-quarter time. Carlton hold a very handy buffer at the last change. They're 8-12-60. Brisbane
have kicked another goal and now lead by 51 points over Footscray. Final quarter to get underway here. Julian Marcus with you, and to get you started, Damien Watson.
So contesting in the ruck for the Blues, Glass McCasker. He kicked a nice goal at the university end of the ground. He wins the tap calmly there to Hayes, who's been sensational in this contest. Streams out of the middle, sends a long probing ball to the top of the goal square. It's going to be punched away. That was by, I think, at the back of the pack there for the Lions. Revel was waiting, but it was a one-on-one contest deep. And effectively, Hayes was very, very good out of the clearance. He just provides that drive. He's been the leading possession getter for the Blues on the ground. That'll take him up to 27 now. So ball back into play. The thick of the action is in Marr, and we'll have another bounce. Marr, of course, kicked a nice snap goal earlier on along the ground. And his disposal count for today, 12. Breaking clear, quick snap towards goal is across the face to the left. That ultimately came there. Motlop was waiting. But I think getting the possession there was Brodie Kemp. So it'll be a return kick out of defence, and the Lions can work it forward.
So a 32-point lead for the Blue Baggers here at the old Princess Park. The long kick went through the hands of Cox. He's going to be paid the free kick in any case against. It's going to go straight back to Carlton. Chincotta will open up the angle, fire it back to full forward. Spoiled out of bounds. Boundary throwing to come. That was looking for Motlop. 8-13 to 3-11. Favour of the Blues.
Motlop's shown a few signs. Hasn't obviously troubled the scorers as yet, but he is capable if he can just tidy up certain areas of his game in terms of disposal. I think his positioning and nous is somewhat inherent, and I think that's a good thing.
It's a ball thrown back into play. And a hurried kick out of defence from Madden. It's marked right on 50. Cottrell will back himself from here.
19 touches. He's kicked a couple of behinds today, obviously from pressurised situations as well, but certainly to that end, not much of a breeze to speak of, so there's no real excuse. But if he can get some penetration on this kick, we know that Icon Park's a big ground. He is still more than capable.
This would all but kill off the contest. This one from 55. He's given it a big ride. He's missed it to the left-hand side for a behind. So 33 points to lead for Carlton. 2.5 minutes gone in the final term.
Michael to clear for the Lions. Works it towards left half back. Cottrell flew high. Is it going to be paid? Yes, it is. What a mark that was. Cottrell like a jumping jack. Spears the ball short. Finds the intended target in Hayes for yet another possession. He's going to get close to that 30 mark within a few minutes. Hayes works it inside 50. Nudged under the football there. Motlop was waiting behind. Feeds it out to his teammate in Crocker. Swings it round his body towards the goal face. It's coming back, but it's brushed into the post by Revel, and only a minor score, but they are pressing the Blues, margin out to 34.
I feel like the kill shot is not far away. Brisbane on the back foot in every sense. 3 goals in 3 quarters of footy. So we are essentially at twilight now. Cincotta laying a strong tackle over the top, and he's got him. Straight back into the mixer. Nunes takes advantage, puts it back inside 50. And it's marked right on the paint. Cahill will swing it back into the middle. And that is a nice find for Will Hayes. About 43 metres out from goal, just left of centre.
What a game he's had, not only around the clinches in the centre, but also just providing that drive as well. He's read the play, he's been omnipresent throughout all areas of the ground, and this to cap off what has been a sensational display here in the Carlton colours, Will Hayes.
Is to make it a 40-point lead. And he's done it.
Great kick.
It's their day. It's the Blues' day. They're going to keep the momentum going. 2 wins at AFL level. And now their VFL side is going to start the season off with a win as well. So they move to 9-15-69 to Brisbane's 3-11-29 at the 4-minute mark of this final quarter. 32 minutes gone in the last term at the Whitten Oval at Sydney by 50 points over Footscray.
On the cusp of 30 disposals, Will Hayes, and that is just reward. Just snuck it in inside the left-hand post. And he's a very accurate kick of the football. As we mentioned, it's a bit of a big racing season up in Sydney. I know David Hayes is in Hong Kong. His father, his high-profile horse trainer father, probably watching on the stream at the moment. Very happy with his son's performance. So back in the middle, the Blues, the very clear advantage early in this final term. Tap one for the Lions there by Smith, who's taken over from Lane in the ruck duties. Paddy Dow with the clearance for the Blues once again. We've seen that very often today. Works it inside 50. Motlop sharking the pack. Will he receive the hand pass here? No, he won't. It's fed out. Good ducking there from Trudgeon. Still a chance for the Blues. Free kick for a high tackle. It's going their way, and the recipient will of course be Brodie Kemp, who's worked hard today. He soldiered on, and he can go back and shoot from about 40 metres out, almost directly in front. So Brodie Kemp, who hasn't had a heck of a lot of the footy, sort of struggled through. Can he go back and certainly put the nail in the Lions' coffin? Kemp from 40 metres out with the blue boots. He's pushed it to the left, only a minor score. So hasn't had plenty of the football, but still soldiered on in any case, Brodie Kemp. Margin certainly getting bigger for the Blues at this point, 6 minutes into the final term.
41 points, so just shy of 7 goals between them. It's sat in the air for an age. It's going to be a free kick. Going to the Lions. Goes to McFadden on the half-back flank. One of us on the broadcast side of Icon Park.
Probably needs to present himself up the ground more, McFadden. We haven't seen too much of him in the air.
That was a nice find. Feed to Henry Smith at centre wing in front of the benches. Takes his full time. And the send to right half forward, good mark.
Buzzer.
Buzzer is about 60 out from goal. He'll come back inbound. Put it up to the hot spot. Oh, that is a wonderful mark. He's had a really good day, Kyle Oman. Really good day.
Has stood out, hasn't he? Not only in the air, but just presenting as well and providing some aggressiveness to the football. He's very good at winning the contested footy. He certainly showed some aptitude and some exhilaration there when he was trying to fly for the mark, and he's certainly been one of the highlights for the Lions today.
That seniors team's incredibly difficult to break into, but this is someone that I think Lions fans will want to keep an eye on throughout the season. Kyle Oman here in the VFL, as he just squeezes it through for a goal. The Lions' 4th of the match.
Yeah, Loman's been one of the standouts for the Lions. It was his 16th possession. Certainly been good as a scoring option as well. He's worked his way up the ground, and it's a very accurate shot in the end, just sneaking it home. And he has very good presence for a youngster, coming through the draft system recently from the Greater Western Victoria Rebels. He certainly does have scope for improvement, but he's got some natural capabilities already.
He'd be one that I'd have circled just to watch throughout the year at VFL level.
The hair stands out as well, I think, Jules.
Yeah,
that helps.
It's a natural magnet, isn't it?
Tell you what, mullets, that's not a conventional mullet, but mullets are the go at the moment in the crowd and footy everywhere at every level. It seems like it's just an Australian thing at the moment.
Well, we haven't been able to get haircuts for 2 years, so naturally that's the end result.
Quite right. Back in the middle. Consolation goal perhaps for Lohman. The Lions through Lane wins the tap. Hand pass comes out from Matheson, who's tried hard all day. And they win the clearance towards half forward. Free kick is going to go against the Carlton defender there in Chincotta. Recipient will be Robertson, who's had moments in this game. Chips it short, finds his target in Cox from a couple of steps on the paint of 50s. Drifts to the right and only a minor score. I'll tell you what, 2 goals in quick succession would have been interesting. The Lions just whittle the deficit back slightly. Out of defence, it's a good mark. Chipping in the road. Chincotta's been pretty good in defence. They've had players that haven't had a heck of a lot of the footy. They've exerted their presence in defence, the Blues, today. Mark taken by Boyd. I'll tell you what, he's one of those. Works it towards the wing. Cottrell was caught behind on that occasion. Took a nice mark earlier in the quarter. Dow feeds it off to his teammate there in Glass McCasker. They work it through a chain of hand passes on that other side. Carlton receiving the footy is Kemp, trying to work his way into the game. Long shot from 60. It's an unguarded square and a good mark going back with the flight for Ben Crocker. The goal-scoring man who kicked 7 last time these two sides played can go back with the flashy pink boots and shoot from close range. So Benny Crocker, pretty hard to miss with his tattoos, his pink boots. He's got a lot of flamboyance about him, but gee, when he's on, he can back up with the football. He's got an acute angle to contend with here, and these, even though it's close range, Jules, these are pretty difficult to negotiate for players because mentally they expect to kick the goal. But at the same time, when it's an acute angle, it can be difficult to execute. Crocker, 15 metres out. Deliberate approach, shoots for goal and nails it. And that's certainly, if the game wasn't over before, it is now. The Blues extend their margin, and they're looking comfortable in this final term.
Blows out now to a 40-point lead. 10-16, 76-4, 12-36. To the Blue Baggers, full time at the Whitten Oval. Sydney 13-12-90, defeated Footscray 6-10-46. So a turn up in the opening game of the VFL season. A lot of action across the weekend still to come. Opening round of the competition.
Tell you what, we've got a bevy of matches in close range and in hot conditions as well over the coming days. These two sides are probably a bit fortunate because it was a top of 21 today, which is very pleasant for football. Be warmer in the next couple of days in Melbourne.
So back into the middle. At the bounce. The honours momentarily with Lane. He's dumped down by his opposite number, Murkov, and we'll have a ball up. Still to come this weekend. Geelong play Essendon tomorrow at GMHBA Stadium. Gold Coast host the Northern Bull Ants at Metricon. And tomorrow night, Frankston take on Werribee at Skybus Stadium. So those are your games tomorrow. As the Blues take it out of the middle, sending it towards full forward. And Crocker again, just going to get there at the 4, but laying the pressure on. Murkov making all sorts of problems for the Lions, and that might have been a bit generous, allowing that hand pass to go through from there.
Yeah, but he was under pressure, and I think you're allowed to when you're under the depths of pressure, tackling pressure, as Michael brings it back into play, looking in the Lohman direction for the Lions, but chipping in for the Blues. There is Michael Lewis on the right foot. Wheels round, sends a probing ball to the top of the square. 2-on-2 contest. Crocker certainly exerted his presence. He was flattened to the ground. In the road there for the Lions, a chance for Tunstall. Lohman from right half back, using his evasive skills. Good footwork. Spears it round towards the centre wing position, and a very good spoil affected there by Lewis Young, who's been pretty good in the air today, I've found, particularly in defence. Been good at applying the spoils, and he's created a marking opportunity as well in the defensive zone for Carlton. He's been one of the standouts in defence for me for the Blues.
Sunday, 11:35, Richmond and Southport at Punt Road. That's going to be a massive clash. Collingwood and Box Hill, that's the game on the 7 Network from Victoria Park at midday. Casey take on Sandringham at Casey, 1 o'clock on Sunday. GWS hosting Port Melbourne in Blacktown at 2 o'clock, and the round finishes up with North Melbourne taking on Williamstown at Arden Street at 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
Looking forward to that game as well. I'll be heading out there, and good to see Willie back in action as well. Have a very passionate supporter base, which is what we love to see at this level.
Certainly clubs like them, Port Melbourne, Coburg, who have the weekend off. They're really the lifeblood of competitions like this, and Northern Bull Ants as well, those standalone clubs that bring so much to this league.
Speaking of which, will they have a special ceremony for Fred Cook, Port Melbourne, this weekend after his passing in the off-season?
I'd imagine they'll be looking to do so ahead of their first home game, which is round 3 against the Sydney Swans. They'll be looking to do something out at North Port Oval on that afternoon. So the Lions are going to go to work trying to send it towards goal. Here's Tunstall. It's sitting on the goal line. Opportunity bounce. Big smother right on the goal line. They're looking to burrow their way through. Buzzes over the top, but
great
paid.
work.
Wonderful tackle.
Cottrell, fantastic. Tell you what, the pressure he applied with the tackling and the smother, that is the exemplification of 1%ers within one passage of play.
Just on that, Franco, as you mentioned, the Lions went back at centre wing. That round 3 home game, their first one at ETU Stadium against the Sydney Swans. First time they've played against each other, I believe, since 1896.
Wow.
At any level. Goes a long way back. And of course, the South Melbourne in those days. As the Blues have it at half-back, trying to play it out. It's been pilfered by Madden, stepping through the trees, hands it off to Offerman. He goes towards goal, but it's cut off on the goal line. And it is marked in the back pocket by Nunes. So they have all the answers, the Blues. 10-17 to 4-12. They lead by 41 points.
Nunes down the line looking for Radovanovic, who had the front spot. Chipping in there for the Lions was Aberley. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Carlton have the numbers. Hayes again, another touch. He's been sensational in accumulating the footy today. Touch of the fumbles from Hurst. Managed to feed it off to his teammate and take it to ground there. He got the thick of the action was Hamilton. They try and keep it in play, do the Lions through Wilmot. Unsuccessful. We'll have a throw in right in front of the interchange benches. Members' side of the ground here at Icon Park as the clouds start to loom across. Certainly from the point of view of Brisbane, it's been a cloudy day in terms of their accuracy. Trying to break clear for the Blues is Marr. He's been excellent today, but not on that occasion. He was wrapped up at a good tackle from Aberley on the left foot. Drives it inside 50. 3-on-3 contest. Good spoil at the back from Young. It's forced to ground level. Good tackle applied there from Williamson for the Blues. Dow in the road. It was a forceful turnover. Dow was very good through traffic. Feeds it back to Young. They could work it across their defensive goal line here, the Blues. And a couple of late goals would be very nice. A little cherry on top of the cake. Dow marks deep in defence. It's a poor kick. It's going to be intercepted there with consummate ease by Bruce Revel, who's done well across half-back, roams up the ground to take the intercept mark. Poor kick from Paddy Dow there. There wasn't really a lot of pressure on him, but still managed to effect the turnover. He's looking for Cottrell, but Revel in the road. Hasn't been too bad for the Lions today. In terms of his stats, he's kicked one of their few goals, coming up for his 12th possession. Been kicking from about 48 metres out. 45-degree angle. Revel hoists it high towards goal. It floats across the face, still inside the field of play, this ball. Hand pass comes out. Big chance here for Cox. He's wrapped up in a crunching tackle. No one could really extricate it. Eventually it's hacked out of the pack for the Blues by Glass McCasker towards right half back, and it tumbles over the line in front there from a Carlton point of view of Ben Crocker, who's worked his way up the ground. That will be a Lions ball. Out in the full, and the mark taken by Robertson. Robertson's 45 metres from home. It's a very congested forward line. He has a shot. He'll be kicking from an acute angle. Works on the right foot. Sets it up to the top of the goal square. Tall flyers wanted. Falls out the back to Parks, who hacks it towards centre half back. Good educated guess with the kick as well in that direction, because there were a plethora of Lions across their half forward line forming the wall. Ended up with a teammate, but taken the ground in the end. Will be a ball up in the thick of it was Glass McCasker.
41-point lead for the Blues. 17 and a half minutes into the final quarter. They'll have the advantage to go out over the back here. Kemp with the handoff, and now they'll look to go in the direction of Crocker as they approach half forward. It's seen out of bounds. 10-17 to 4 goals 12.
Been a rudimentary win, you would say, in the end, I think, if you look back at the record books, but they certainly had their accuracy troubles, both sides.
That will certainly be the first thing that both of these clubs work on ahead of next week. Carlton, they head to Box Hill Oval to face the Hawks, while...
It's usually breezier there too.
Yes, they're kicking 10-17 here on a largely still day. Then Box Hill will challenge them. While Brisbane, they'll host North Melbourne next week. So mark is claimed out the back by Chincotta as we approach time on in this last quarter. Blues by 41 points. Earlier today it was the Swans with a big win at Whitten Oval. The Whitten Oval against Footscray. 3 games tomorrow and then the smorgasbord of games on Sunday to finish off round 1.
That's the great VFL/VFA tradition. A lot of games on the Sunday, I reckon, in the afternoon.
Well, that's really what the tradition is. Wasn't it? Sundays are for the VFA, the old saying, many moons ago. Well, the next Saturday, it really is a Saturday showcase of football, with all but 2 games being played next weekend on the Saturday afternoon. As Carlton look for another one, as Crocker harangued on the ball, shipped off the hand pass to Williamson. High kick, it's going to fall in the pocket, off towards the boundary line. I think both sides happy to see it over. Eventually that's what happens, 40 metres out from goal for the Blues.
And Crocker working to the game in this last quarter. I think that's a pleasing thing from Carlton's point of view. They haven't relied on him as being that sole goal-scoring avenue. And that was exemplified when they played against the Tigers, the practice match, where they had 11 individual goal scorers, and they needed to lift in that area too, because they had a couple of ordinary practice matches. There's an infringement behind play here, maybe out of the ruck contest. Umpires conferring, and the recipient looks as if it's Alex Murkov. May have been infringed upon before the ball was even thrown in, and he can go back and shoot from about 43 metres out.
So looking at the next 4 for Carlton, they have Box Hill next Sunday away at Box Hill City Oval. Then they're up to the Gold Coast to face the Suns. Then back here, round 4 against Richmond on a Sunday morning, and then off to Werribee in round 5.
Urkov, a stuttering approach from 40 metres out. Starts it right, and it stays there. Lucky to register a behind in the end. That game against Richmond, incidentally, I think that's on Easter Sunday morning from memory. There's a heap of games and a rare morning match, I suppose. Yeah,
11:05 a.m. start. That one's going to be an absolute beauty. Carlton and Richmond. For Brisbane, their next 4. They host North Melbourne at Moreton Bay next Saturday. Then a Friday night clash at GMHBA, a curtain raiser to the AFL with Geelong. And then they host Port Melbourne, then away to Sydney as another curtain raiser.
Do you like curtain raisers? Do you think we should see more of them?
50-50. I mean, you can't really beat the charm of coming to places like this, and particularly your standalone grounds like your Coburgs, your Port Melbournes, your Williamstowns. But there is a place for it. I'm just not sure how much. As the feed back to the goal square from Dow, went through hands. They're able to clean up for a moment, Brisbane, but ultimately, you can't deny time. And it is marked about 30 metres out from goal by Cottrell. Just right of centre as we are now at the 21-minute mark of this final quarter.
Enjoyed watching Matt Cottrell play. He took a great mark on the outer side. Was dubious as to whether it should have been paid, but it was still a good mark all the same. He's kicked 3 behinds, 24 disposals. Good way to cap it off with to be scoring a major.
Can he finally put one through the big sticks? He's got it. It took into the final quarter, but Cottrell's got a goal. And it drives home what's been a successful afternoon/evening for the Blues. The momentum from their seniors team has pilfered down to the VFL level. You see quite a few of the AFL boys watching on from the club rooms here this evening after their win last night against the Bulldogs.
Well, a fancy couch in there, don't they?
That's it. They've spent no expense in there, in their quarters, the crib, I guess they call it. But the Blues, they're undefeated at AFL level, and now they'll be undefeated at VFL level to start 2022.
Yes. Not a phrase you'd often say in the last 25 years, just quietly. I can say that because I'm a Carlton supporter, technically.
Not around here, no.
So back in the middle, 9 individual goal scorers now for Carlton. 11 in the practice match against Richmond. So they've shared the goal-scoring duties around. Back in the middle. That one for the Blues. As the tackling has been ferocious. Motlop applying the pressure here on Robertson, who did well the latter to clear. Works it towards half-forward. Nunes going back with the flight. It's a good mark from Buzzer, utilising his height. Feeds it off to his teammate in Offerman. Tries to find space from 45 metres out, off a step, sends it high to the top of the goal square. Players converge. No one really able to gain possession. Trudgeon was in the thick of the action. Be waiting for the hand pass as well here, as the tackle is effective for the Lions by Aberley. Will have a bounce about 30 metres out from goal. So the Lions with a rare foray forward in this last quarter, trailing by 8 goals. You can hear the Seagulls in the background. Williamson waiting for the hand pass. Instead it comes to Robertson, who snaps it round his body, and it's a just reward for a great effort from Devon Robertson today. Swings it through for a goal, and the Lions have their 5th on the board. They're 5-12-42, trailing the Blues 11-18, 84 at Icon Park.
I haven't got a chance to ask you, who do you fancy this year in the VFL? I mean, it's such an unknown quantity with the last 2 seasons being abandoned, but who would you have as far as your contenders to watch out of the gate?
It is a good question, isn't it? You can only really base it off the 10 rounds or so that we had, not even 10 rounds last year, and even that was interrupted. We had schedule changes aplenty based on the states in which teams were based in, so it is hard to read, isn't it? And with the Dogs going down today, it makes it even more difficult. Just having a look at the squads, I wouldn't necessarily rule out the Dogs despite their loss in round 1. Certainly the Swans looking good with their academy players coming through the ranks.
Well, how about that for a thought as well? Carlton between AFL and VFL level, 3-0. The Bulldogs 0-3.
Who'd have thought?
It's the complete opposite of what you would have expected a few weeks ago if you asked that question. So Blues find another forward entry, but this one chopped off on the last line of defence, as this one winds towards its conclusion here at Icon Park. The ball in the hands of Leicester. It is a 42-point lead to Carlton, 11-18 to 5 goals, 12.
I wonder if this ground would have still been holding AFL games if they had the floodlights in, 15 to 20 years ago. It's an interesting question.
I think there's probably a good chance of it. I know there's been a discussion over the years whether or not to bring games over here again. It's certainly one of those places where you can just feel the history walking into it.
I love watching footy here. Absolutely love it.
It's brilliant. Much like you can feel the history and walk into a place like Victoria Park as well. And you might not enjoy it over there as much, but
no, I love the history there, and I know they've redeveloped certain areas of the ground as well to fit the current community.
And that's the beauty of the AFLW, is that it exposes new fans to these classic venues. And we're going to see more of that with the full expansion to the 18 clubs for next season, as Carlton work it through half-back. Sent out to Nunes. Nunes looking to evade the tackle of Buzzer. Buzzer holding on for dear life, and he finally gets the win. That was a long time. Still doesn't let go. Meanwhile, the Lions have a chance to get some late window dressing here. And it's with Lane at centre wing. 7-goal lead to the Blues. It's fired towards half forward. He's always in the front position. Radvanovic, who's had a good day for Carlton today. And ball to Young. Now the feed finds Boyd with some room to run.
Been good.
Handball on the ground. Speaking of good, Will Hayes has certainly been that and more. Cody Hurst as well. There's quite a few Blues that have been really solid this afternoon. Although the kick inside 50 is taken by Leicester, going back with the flight. So I'm winding down towards its conclusion. It's the Blues by 7 goals over the Lions.
So Michael on the outer side. Been a stout defender today between half-back and centre wing. Spearing ball really to no one in particular. Parks will pick this off, you would suspect, with consummate ease. Dribbles it down the line. Intercepted there for the Lions by Triffett. Eventually it ends up in the arms of Cox. He's taken to ground. Is it going to be holding the ball? No, says the umpire. No prior opportunity. We'll have a bounce. True centre wing outer side. I think Hayes has to be my pick for best on ground. He's been very efficient. He's contributed on the scoreboard with a couple of goals, and his clearance work has been good along with Dow. As the ball will come back here from the stoppage. I think it'll be a Lions ball based on the motioning of the umpire. So Smith to be the recipient. Lions work it towards left half forward. It's a poor kick in the end. Mark should have been taken for the Blues there by Williamson. Dropped what he should have taken. As a consequence, the Lions work it inside 50. Young at the back for the Blues. Has numbers aplenty to contend with as a handballing option. Works it out to Nunes. Nunes works it inboard. And there was Marr. Back to Nunes. Now a chance through the aid of Boyd, who's been excellent, and working through the pack, Chigcotta. Nunes again. Chips the pass. And Cody Hurst takes the mark just inside the field of play. Works it interchange side. And Hayes, wouldn't it be fitting if the Siren went with the ball in his hands? He's been excellent today as a contributor. Certainly exerted his authority on the contest. Wheels onto the right foot. Sends it towards half forward. Good mark from Smith. Certainly has flight. Good aerial ability. Good jump for a big man as well. Landed a little bit awkwardly. He takes the mark, does Henry Smith. Between half-back and centre wing. There's the siren. As Chigcotta flies high, the Blues have flown high with momentum. They win their first game of the 2022 VFL season in comprehensive style by 7 goals, 11-18-84 to